We had deputies that responded to a domestic incident on Mina French Creek Road in the town of Mina. The initial call came in at 3:34 p.m. with our initial officer arriving at 3:54 p.m. Upon arrival, they encountered an armed subject and gunfire was exchanged. Emergency medical services responded to the scene, administered first aid to 2 subjects, 1 officer, and then the subject who was injured. 1 deputy suffered minor injuries, non-life-threatening to his hands. The subject later succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation is ongoing. We have the Attorney General's office who's here as a requirement of New York State law for any officer-involved shooting. Our District Attorney's office, as well as our forensic identification team, which consists of members from every police agency in Chautauqua County. And then the Sheriff's Office is also investigating with them. We'd like to thank all those who were involved in this incident and responded to the scene, our volunteer fire departments from Clymer, from Sherman, and from Findlay Lake, as well as Chautauqua County EMS, our FIT team, the New York State Police, and as well as, again, the Attorney General's office will be coming, and the District Attorney's office. As mentioned, the investigation is ongoing. We will keep you updated as we get further information. At this time, do you have any questions?
If we could just go back.
Yes.
The call came in 3:34?
That is correct.
Okay. And then, but 3:50
Correct.
is when the shooting took place? Or-
That's when the first officers arrived on scene. And
Okay, so 3:30, can you describe the nature of that call that came in?
it came in as a domestic incident call. And again, the jurisdiction here is quite rural. So the response time was, for an area this rural, was relatively quick. They responded and arrived on scene. The incident in the exchange of gunfire happened shortly after 4, after several attempts of de-escalation took place with the officers on scene and the subject.
3:50, they arrived,
3:50, shortly after 3:50.
shortly after 3:50,
Yeah.
but then, can you describe the de-escalation that was taking place? What was happening? Was it inside the house, outside?
Everything took place outside of the house. There was verbal commands, several verbal commands being given by the officer until the gunfire commenced. 2 officers were at the scene and were involved in that incident.
Was the person armed when they got there?
Yes, he was. Yeah, it was a long gun.
Like an AR?
No, it was a
Like a rifle?
it was a shotgun.
Okay. And pointed it at the officers? I'm just trying to get a sense.
Yes, he was pointing the weapon at the officers, and as I mentioned, the officer did suffer wounds or injuries to both hands. Believe that it was buckshot that was in the shotgun.
And was it like simultaneous gunfire?
It was very close to simultaneous. The response, we were still investigating that, but it was it takes seconds for the incident to culminate.
Sure. And did both officers fire their weapons?
They did.
Any idea how many shots?
That we don't know at this time.
But only one officer was wounded?
Only one officer was injured. I say minor, non-life-threatening injuries to his hands.
Do you have any history with the person or at that address in Mina?
I haven't personally, but
Okay.
I haven't looked into that at this time. At this point, we are still investigating, and I know it's a long-term resident of that area, but I'm not sure of the calls that we've had previously to this incident.
When was the last time there was an officer-involved shooting involving a Chautauqua County deputy? Can you?
I can't give you the date. It's been many years, so I can tell you that, but I don't have the exact date on that.
questions if that's.
I'm sure you will.
You know me. All right, so, the officer is in the hospital, released already? Do you know what the?
He's still being treated,
Okay.
expected to be released
Okay, at Hammett or?
in an Erie hospital.
Okay, all right. And it's a man who was shot, the other person?
It was a white male,
A
yes.
white male, do you have an age or anything we can say about him?
I would say middle-aged.
Middle.
Yeah,
And died at the scene?
that is correct.
Okay. So the AG's office, that's SOP, something like
That is SOP. It's by New York State law. The law has been in effect for a few years. Any officer involved shooting, death in custody, they will come to investigate.
How does this impact, something like this, you don't know, the state of the deputy when this happens. How does this impact you and your department?
I think it impacts the whole community. This is a tight-knit community out in this area of the county, and so nobody wants to see anybody's life taken. So the emotional effect on everybody involved takes a toll. So we are making sure that our officers are cared for. We will be working with the fire service. Generally, we will have a critical incident stress management debriefing offered to those who responded to the scene. But we want to make sure everybody's taken care of.
Do your deputies wear body cams?
They do.
And were the body cams on? For this?
They were activated, yes.
And so obviously that's going to be part of that.
That would be part of the investigation. That would be something I'm sure the Attorney General's office will want to view, our district attorney will want to view. That will help determine exactly what happened or exactly what was observed from the point of view of the officers on scene.
Can you tell us anything about the deputy who was involved? His age, how many years?
Now, we're not going to release any information on the deputies. They responded. They both have been with our agency for a few years and assigned to this area generally. So, but at this time, we're not going to release any names of the officers involved or the subject involved.
Now, I was told the son was at the scene after. Is he aware?
Yeah, the son and the wife are aware. So, yes, I'm not sure about other family members.
You said it was domestic, right, that the cops were responding to? It wasn't a shots fired situation that they were responding
That's
to?
correct. We were responding to a domestic incident on the French Creek Minor Road.
Gotcha.
We will keep you advised as we get more information and as the investigation continues. Thank you very much.